She came to Korea to chase her dreams. An international student, brilliant and determined, but one late night at the lab, she entered the wrong room, got military secrets, deadly ones. Now she's not a student anymore. She's a target, and the man sent to silence her, he's the only one who just might save her or destroy her. This is where everything changes. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and buckle up, because this story is just getting started. Let's get into it. Outside, the voices closed in, orders barked, lights sweeping the woods like hungry eyes. Inside, silence pressed them together. Two fugitives caught in a war neither had asked to fight. He pressed his finger to her lips. Quiet. He leaned close. Wait. And when the voices drifted past, when the storm swallowed the footsteps, he reached down, his gloved hand pulling her up from the dark. Run with me. She didn't nod. She didn't speak. She just ran. They ran until the storm swallowed their footprints. Branches tore at her hair, mud sucked at her shoes. His hand never left hers, pulling, steering, stopping just short when a distant beam of light cut the woods. He moved like he'd done this before, the soldiers' careful hush in every step. Once they crouched in a hollow under a fallen tree, while voices passed so close she could hear the click of radios, the snap of boots on wet earth. She wanted to ask, "Who are they? What do they want?" But her breath stayed locked behind her teeth. She only looked at him. He only looked at the dark. When they moved again, the wind howled like it was trying to warn them, or betray them. Hours blurred. Her legs ached like they were carrying bricks. Her throat burned. Still, he pushed them deeper into the woods until the trees thinned to a hidden service road. A rusted fence, a single white van half hidden under an old tarpaulin. He yanked it open, motioned her inside. The back smelled of oil and old coffee. There was a blanket, a dented thermos, an unmarked bag with a second jacket. He tossed it to her. Put it on. They're looking for a student in a red coat, not a woman in a soldier's parka. She slipped it over her damp clothes. It smelled like him. Rain, iron, secrets. He slammed the doors shut, climbed into the front, and started the engine. They drove for hours, headlights off, moonlight guiding them down roads that barely deserved the name. The city fell behind like a bad dream, replaced by soft hills, ghost towns, the pale outlines of abandoned farms half buried under drifting mist. When the van finally wheezed to a stop, she jolted awake, cheek pressed to the cold window. Outside, an old farmstead swallowed by pine trees, one crooked barn, one stone house, roof patched with mismatched tiles. He opened her door. His voice was softer now. Go inside, fast. The stone house was warmer than the woods, but smelled of damp and old memories. He lit an oil heater, pulled cans from a crate, tuna, instant rice, bottled water, survival rations. She sank onto a threadbare mattress. Her hands trembled as she peeled back the foil lid. She hadn't realized how hungry she was until the smell hit her. He sat opposite, cross-legged, eyes studying her like she was a puzzle half solved. You need to sleep. She wanted to ask so much. Who are you? Why me? Why help? But all that came out was, what do they want from me? His jaw tightened. He turned away, rummaging in his bag for a moment before tossing her a dry blanket. Sleep. We'll talk when it's safe. She hated it, the way he shut the door behind her words, but she was too tired to fight. She wrapped herself in the blanket and curled on her side, trying not to listen to the wind rattling the loose shutters. She dreamed of her mother's voice, calm, warm, an echo across 1,000 miles. Face your books, Racheal. Keep your head down. But in the dream, the voice twisted. Sujin's face instead, whispering, "One mistake. That's all it takes." She woke to silence and the distant hiss of his voice on a phone she couldn't see. She crept from the mattress, blanket tight around her shoulders. He didn't see her at first. Back turned, phone pressed to his ear, voice low and sharp. She caught words she almost understood. "No, not yet. She doesn't know. Yes, the file. She stepped on a loose floorboard. It squeaked. He spun, phone snapping shut, eyes burning a hole through her. You shouldn't be up. She hugged the blanket tighter. Who were you talking to? He didn't answer, just crossed the room in 3 strides, too close, too calm. Go back to bed. She held his gaze, daring him to look away first. I trusted you. In that cabin, I ran because of you. His jaw flexed, a flash of something like regret or maybe pity. You're alive, aren't you? She almost slapped him. Almost, but her hand fell limp. I deserve the truth. He looked away first. His fingers drummed against the old table. Once, twice, a habit he couldn't kill. The truth can get you killed. So can lies. Silence swallowed the room. Outside, the trees whispered secrets to the wind. He spoke first, so soft she had to lean in. They think you saw something you shouldn't have. A file, a name, a map. They think you know what it means. And do I? You tell me. The next night they heard the dogs. Low barks echoing through the forest, boots crunching fresh snow, flashlights cutting the dark. He grabbed her arm. Go, out the back. They slipped through a warped back door, into knee-deep drifts that swallowed their footprints as fast as they could run. Behind them, the barn lit up, a beam of flashlight sweeping the beams, voices barking orders. She stumbled once. His arm yanked her up so fast she bit her tongue. Blood tasted like rust and cold air. They reached a dry creek bed, ducked under an old culvert. Breath ragged, hearts pounding so loud the dogs might have heard it. She looked at him, really looked. What are you? He didn't flinch. Your only chance. They hid until dawn. At sunrise they limped back to the van, a ghost on 4 wheels now, streaked with mud, half out of gas. She curled in the back. He drove, eyes hollow, hand steady. At a crossroad, he killed the engine. He turned in his seat, voice rough. There's a man who can get you out. Papers, a name that's clean, enough cash to vanish. She hated how easily he said it, like she was cargo. And you? He shrugged. My part ends here. She felt her stomach drop, betrayal lapping at her bones like cold water. You're dumping me. He didn't meet her eyes. Better you hate me than they find you with me. She laughed, a sharp, broken sound that scared even her. You think I'm safe alone? You think they'll just let me walk? Silence. He had no answer. She pushed past him, swung open the door, snow crunching under her boots as she stepped into a future she didn't know how to name. She didn't get far before the snow turned to rain. The trees blurred. Her breath came in ragged clouds that stung her throat. She kept hearing his voice. Better you hate me. Coward, she thought. He saved me just enough to keep his hands clean. But the words tasted like a lie. The more she replayed that night in the cabin, the more she saw it. His eyes, checking the door, the window, not for his own safety, for hers. She didn't have a plan, only a name, Minseo, and an address scribbled on the back of a ration packet, a smudge where snow had melted the ink. She found a payphone at an old gas station. Her fingers were numb as she dialed the number he'd murmured before he walked away. 3 rings, a click, a woman's voice, calm but cold. You shouldn't be using this line. Racheal swallowed her fear. He said you'd help me. A pause, the faint sound of papers shuffling. Do you have the file? Racheal's throat closed. What file? No, she breathed. The line went dead. She stood there, frozen, the dial tone buzzing in her ear like a warning. Then, a hand on her shoulder. She spun, ready to scream. But it was him. JinHoo, no uniform, just rain-slick hair, eyes darker than the storm. We have to move, now. He didn't ask how she'd found the phone. He didn't explain how he'd found her. He just grabbed her hand, again, and pulled her back into the shadows of the gas station. In the alley behind the pumps, an old sedan idled, engine coughing like a smoker. He pushed her into the passenger seat, slammed his door, floored the gas. They know you called her, he said, voice like iron. They'll come for her next, and for you. Racheal pressed herself back into the torn upholstery. The city lights blurred by, neon bleeding through the rain. "Tell me the truth," she hissed. "What is the file?" He didn't look at her. "It's nothing." A lie. She knew his lies now. They tasted like cold steel. An hour later, they stopped at a warehouse by the port. Rusted gates, cargo crates stacked like gravestones. Inside, the hum of a single bulb, metal stairs curling to a loft above. He locked the doors, checked his gun, sat across from her on a crate. "The file was never meant for you." She waited. A leak. Names, routes, accounts. People who shouldn't exist on paper. And somehow it crossed your path. She thought of the lab, the broken copier, the folder Soo-jin had left behind, the page she'd seen by accident, Korean words she couldn't read, but numbers she'd photographed without meaning to, thinking it was homework. "They think you still have it." She dug into her pocket, pulled out her cracked phone. The photo was there, pixelated, buried under other useless selfies. He reached for it, but she yanked it back. "If I give this to you, you'll leave me again?" His eyes flickered, a heartbeat of raw honesty. "If you keep it, you die. If they get it, I die." She held the phone like it weighed more than her whole body. "What happens if you have it?" He leaned closer, close enough that she smelled the storm on his jacket. "I disappear. You disappear. Maybe no one comes knocking at your mother's door in Lagos." She almost laughed, but the tears came first. "They'll still find me." He brushed his thumb under her eye, rough, careful. "Then run with me." She froze. Run. With him. He'd been her ghost, her shield, her lie in the dark. But this was real. Her voice cracked. "To where?" He almost smiled. Almost. "Somewhere they don't speak Korean." They moved fast. Fake IDs, ferry tickets under fake names, a freighter slipping out of Busan under the cover of mist and paperwork nobody read. Racheal watched the lights of Korea vanish, a smear of neon against a sky that didn't care who lived or died. He sat beside her in the tiny cabin, close enough to feel his warmth, far enough that neither dared say the words they both tasted. The first morning at sea, she woke tangled in an old blanket, his jacket draped over her like a promise. He handed her tea in a chipped mug. "When we dock, new names, new country. No questions." She nodded. She didn't trust the sea, didn't trust the plan, but she trusted the feel of his pulse when their hands brushed. On the deck at sunrise, she watched gulls wheel in the salt wind, the taste of freedom roar on her tongue. He stood behind her, arms braced on the rail, face turned to the horizon. She turned, touched his sleeve. "What do I call you now?" His mouth twitched, not quite a smile. "Anything you want." She breathed deep, the first breath that didn't feel stolen. And when he bent his head, lips brushing hers like a promise that maybe the storm was over, she believed him. And somewhere beyond the waves, Racheal's mother's voice drifted with the wind. "Face your books, Racheal. Keep your head down." But this time, she didn't listen. She faced the open sea instead.